Good morning, everyone. Looks like we got a couple people. I can see Tom, and looks like we got Janelle. Everybody's on mute. Nobody can hear.
Hi, sorry.
There's Adam.
Hi, Adam.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
And it looks like we got Tori as well.
Hi, I'm here.
Good morning. How are you?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
All right. Why don't we do this? Why don't you each introduce yourself first, and then I'll talk a little bit and we'll have a conversation if that seems okay with everyone. And Tom, why don't you go ahead first?
Okay, my name is Tom Keeler, and I graduated from RMU with my MBA in 1988, and I've been a big Colonial fan and follower ever since.
Awesome. Well, welcome to Breakfast with the Dean.
Thank you.
I wish that we could actually have breakfast, but but maybe another time soon. Adam,
We will hold you to that.
you have my word. I'm good at food, so as soon as I'm allowed, you will be invited. I promise you that.
Very good.
Adam.
Hi, I'm Adam Etzel. I am a 2016 graduate of Robert Morris University. I graduated from the marketing department. I currently work for PNC Wealth Management as a fiduciary closing officer.
Well, welcome, Adam. You graduated the year I became dean.
Okay, yes, that sounds familiar.
Tori, you want to say hello?
Hi, I'm Tori. I am currently a junior marketing major at RMU, so I will plan to graduate in 2022.
Wonderful to have you.
Matt Millet, and I'm a class of 99, and I currently work at the university in institutional advancement.
Wonderful. And Janelle, do we have you back yet?
Yeah, it's not. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Right now we can.
Good.
Good job.
Okay.
Welcome.
Yay. Hi, I'm Janelle Capizzuto. I graduated from Robert Morris in 1995, business degree in aviation management.
Cool.
Yes, I'm currently, though not flying, I am a customer operations analyst with PCNA, Polyconcept North America.
Wonderful to have you as well. So to everyone, hello again and welcome. As I said before, I wish that we were here actually having breakfast, and I promise you as soon as we're allowed, I've got your names now. You are first on my list, and we'll have a wonderful breakfast here in Massey, which we used to have many of them last year. So we'll continue to have that. My name is Michelle Patrick. I'm the Dean of the School of Business. I'm entering my 5th year as Dean. And so I graduated last year with my undergraduate, you can kind of say, right? And I'm working on my master's, and then I got a doctorate ahead of me too, I think. So I'll be here for a while. At least that's the plan. We've been doing a lot of different things. And what I thought I'd do is just kind of start by telling you some of the updates of where we are, but then let you just ask questions and we have a conversation if that seems to work. I'm not one to, just constantly talk. So I'll give you a few updates, and then we can kind of just have a conversation on what's been happening and kind of where we are, if that works for everyone. Just a few updates. So we're entering the 100th year. Next year is the 100th year of the university in 2021. And as many of you know, the university started as an accountancy program, right? So accounting is turning 100. And I was sitting there this weekend thinking about it. You know what? They probably, none of us are 100 years old, so we don't know, but I'm guessing they probably used, abacuses and things like that as they were adding. And I sat there and I thought about, like, what are we doing right now in accounting? Well, we're teaching drones and how drones are used in accounting. We have bots. So very, very different than accounting 100 years ago in some ways, but in some ways it's the same, right? So the same principles of what accounting is, same principles of kind of management and marketing. But what we've tried to do is just continue with the times in terms of technology and in terms of opportunities for students. So some things we give for our students in Bloomberg terminals, we have 13 of them, and our students get to hopefully by the time they graduate, if they're a finance major, get certified in Bloomberg terminals. So they have that for their credentials. In marketing, we use Salesforce, which is a huge package. We also have Hootsuite. So most of our marketing students will end up in sales, get some kind of certification in Salesforce and Hootsuite. In finance also, we've added a certified financial planning program that is connected with the CFP. So students can then go and sit for the CFP after they have been, after they go through all of the education. Let's see, all of our students effective this fall coming in have to take a cloud computing class for business through Amazon Web Services. So we are one of 2 business schools in the world that offer cloud computing for business. Typically you see that in a like computer science area, but we've created something with Amazon to teach students what the cloud is and why it's useful in business. So all our students will be certified effective this fall. There's a group of them already working on it. So that's pretty cool. We have a new MBA, probably about 2 or 3 years old now. It's interdisciplinary, so it's team taught, it's online, and students can focus on either logistics or business analytics or project management or risk management. So there's 4 different areas. We don't have aviation anymore, but you know what, maybe sometime if I can get a plane out of it, I'm thinking we ought to bring it back. Just saying, but we do have those focus areas as well. And the whole idea is to give students an opportunity to understand there's credentials out there. You're going to get a degree, but I want you to graduate not just with an awesome RMU degree, but with something else in addition to that degree, some other credential that'll separate you from everybody else. What's most important and what I think has remained the same over the past 100 years is our mission. So we are still, you know, Robert Morris, we are still the applied professional, and we are trying our best to continue to connect our students and our alumni. You know, that's what it's about. It's about the connections, and it's about making an impact in the industry, which many of you have done. So that's awesome. And that's my goal. My goal is every single student who graduates, you know, they get the degree and they sit there and say, wow, how can I go out and make an impact? And then how can I come back and share that impact with everybody else? So that's kind of just like the 3-minute or 5-minute overview. Let's start with questions. Does anyone have any questions? I could keep talking if not, but if you have questions,
I have a question, please. With all the current things happening around us, are they looking to incorporate classes on diversity in business?
So we actually have an MSHR degree, and thank you for bringing that up. We have an MSHR degree, a master's, and we've had it for many years. And last year, actually before a lot of this started, we created a certificate built in called Diversity and Inclusion. So at the graduate level, we have that opportunity for MSHR students to get that separate certificate. The certificate is freestanding as well. So you could come to the university and get it. It's online, same as the degree. So it's a great opportunity for graduate students. At the undergraduate, we have always had a large number of classes in the business areas that include diversity in many different ways, organizational behavior and our basic management classes. So we're continuing to just update that, but we've always focused on that.
Very good. Thank you.
Sure. Other questions?
Michelle, you want to talk a little bit about the Rockwell Foundation?
I was going to,
Daughter?
sure.
Yeah.
Welcome, President Howard. How are you this
I'm
morning?
doing well, thank you.
Sure. So one of the things that we have done recently as well is we have 2 centers in the School of Business. We have a sales center, which is fairly new, and our students are working and learning more about sales and relationship selling. The other one that we have kind of rejuvenated and reworked is our entrepreneurship center. And we look at entrepreneurship in 2 different ways at RMU. The typical way, you go out and you actually create something, right? So whether it's a new business or a new idea. And the other way that we think about entrepreneurship is creating that entrepreneurial value within an established organization. So the workplace entrepreneurship or the workplace innovation. So one of the things that we've been able to do is work with the Rockwell Foundation, and they have supported us by giving us some fellows. So they give us some money for our students, and we pick 10 fellows every year. And those fellows work throughout the year to promote entrepreneurship and learn entrepreneurship. So we have 10 fellows. Tori, are you a fellow still?
I was actually never a fellow. I actually worked for the Entrepreneurship Center under Dr. Griffinell, but I had to resign from that position.
Okay, that's right. That's right, Tori.
Yeah.
I forgot you did. You were helping out as the student over the past year.
Yes.
So we have a number of students, 10 of them right now, who are all working on this. They are talking about having speakers. They have been meeting pretty regularly, probably once a week, working on their entrepreneurship path. And as I said, many of them are working on going into an established business, but becoming a workplace innovator in some way. Other questions?
Hey, Michelle, good morning. This is Matt. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can. Go ahead.
Back in the day, I know we all as alum chose RMU for the business program, a majority of us on here. What do you think still separates the RMU Business School from other business schools in the Pittsburgh region?
Well,
you were talking to a potential student. What would you say makes RMU special, so to speak?
so I think what makes RMU different is probably why all of you came to RMU. Our mission. So what is different about us versus many of the other business schools is that we really work on trying to make a difference in the community and connecting people with the community. Our professional focus is really something, when you go to most other business schools, you think about all of the things that they do. They have the same classes, but they're not incorporating all of these wonderful types of certifications, as I talked about before, thinking about how to market students and differentiate them, connecting them with businesses. We do consulting projects. We created the first year I came, an international consulting project. So our students work with a school from Switzerland, and they work together on a project. We are working now with our corporate partnerships. Dr. Howard, since he came, has created a corporate partnership area that has allowed us to connect again with our alums and with the business community, doing projects, internships, and allowing everyone to understand kind of business in practice and how it works. But we still have that same accreditation that every school has. So you go to Pitt, you go to CMU, they're accredited by AACSB, so are we, right? So we have that same quality, but then we've added that extra touch is what I will say as we go forward.
Michelle, this is Tom.
Yep, Tom.
Yeah, just a comment, really. As a retired CFP, I was very happy to hear that we now have a CFP training program. That's terrific.
Thank you. That has been something that has a long time coming. We're so excited about it. We're really in the actual first year this year. We started it like as a kind of test last year, but this year we have a full class in the program. We're one of a few in the area, well, actually in the region that has it at the undergraduate level. So I think that that has been a wonderful thing for us and another distinguisher as we were talking about. So our students will start graduating students actually this spring from the program.
Great, thank you.
Sure, it's awesome.
Hi, Michelle. So we get a lot of news lately and a lot of it's not good. So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to go the opposite direction. Why don't you, and I think we've talked about this a little bit, so it should be an easy one for you, but why don't you talk about some of the positives you've seen since March and all the changes that have happened? What have been some bright spots that have been surprises?
So I think, you know, our students have come together, faculty, staff, students, everybody has really come together in general. And that is true RMU spirit. You know, we were nervous, as many schools were nervous as we started moving forward. But things, you know, we've really kind of come together and we've kind of contained. You know, we of course have some cases and we of course have some issues here, but nothing compared to many other schools, knock on wood. And that's, you know, to the credit of our students, our faculty, and our staff. And that has been wonderful. We pivoted just like everybody else in March, and our faculty spent many, many hours learning all the different techniques and all the different types of things to really engage our students. And I think one of the good things that has come out of it is our faculty are continuing to learn more and to engage more through, you know, Zoom or whatever else we're using. We're using a lot of different new technologies. We're trying to figure out, you know, how do we still have that touch with those technologies? We just had something last week with all the faculty in the School of Business where we talked about what is, you know, we have something called virtual rotation at this university where there's technology where half the class is, you know, somewhere else and half the class is in the classroom. And there's a screen in the back of the classroom or on the side of the classroom where you can see each other and talk, but you're not all in the same room. And then you flip. So like if it's a Tuesday, Thursday class, half the class on Tuesday is in the classroom. On Thursday, you flip and you have the other class, but it's a new technology. And so we're learning about it and we're trying to figure out, you know, how do you still have that interaction? How do you still do those types of things? We're using Google. We have a lot of different Google applications and a lot of different Google technologies that we're learning. The other thing that is kind of cool is we've had the opportunity to bring in a lot of different people where they might not have been able to come to campus, right? So Zoom and all of that allows people to come in and talk to our students in a way that we might not have had that opportunity in the past, you know, where we would try to get people on campus. So I think there's some really good things that are happening. We've moved forward in the School of Business. We continue to work on all of the things that, as I said, the sales center, the entrepreneurship center, all of these certificates, all of these partnerships. So we're moving forward and we're excited about those types of things. Plus, I'm back at the university, which is always a good thing. You know, coming back, it was rough sitting at home. I kept going, I want to come back to campus and I want to keep looking. And so we've been back and it's nice to come back and see some students walking around. It's, you know, not as busy, of course, but we're here. And that's just, you know, mentally, I think a really, really good thing. You know, I was also thinking a lot about some of the changes moving forward. So, you know, what in business will remain and what in business will change. will people continue to work from home? Will people, will the way that we interact change? Will interviewing change? Will those types of things change? Have you seen that in your businesses? Janelle or Adam or?
Well, right now we're on a hiring freeze.
Okay.
So we sadly had to furlough some folks, let some folks go. And a lot of the meetings though a lot of our meetings are now Microsoft Teams. We're a production facility. So right now, if anybody is at any of our factories, it's the production workers and some managerial staff. But other than that, the rest of us are at home. Our customer service department, they all had to learn how to work from home. And then like the rest of the management and those of us behind the scenes, like myself and others. So it's been a very unique transition. They think we're going to be back come mid-January, but I'm trying to be positive. But the rate things are happening around the world, it might not be till probably March, almost a full year.
Yeah, I was talking to one of the accounting firms in the area last week, and they were hoping to go back in January, and now they're saying March before they get everyone back. So it'll be interesting, to see how that works. And they're saying their tax people will just stay probably all the first quarter, maybe first 2 quarters at home and work from home in the spring. So I think it's an interesting type of thing. Adam, what about you?
So I haven't been in the office since March. We're supposed to go back the first of the year, but I don't know if that'll happen. It's been pushed back several times. But since, we're a relatively large corporation, we do a lot of stuff already on Skype and through email, those sorts of things. We just are using them a little bit more now with our specific teams.
And Tori, how are classes going?
So this semester, I decided to take 18 credits. I thought that I could manage it. I won't lie, it's very difficult. I ended up having 3 8-week online courses, and that course load was very heavy, I won't lie. So it was a big challenge for me to adjust to getting used to having everything online and not being actually in class. My other 3 classes were in person, but they were virtual rotation. Again, a challenge as well to adjust to, having half the class in person, half the class is online. Sometimes we can't hear the person who's online trying to ask a question. Technology always gets in the way. But, we try to work around it. Google has done a very good job of trying to keep everyone together and also keeping on top of their own technology to put out updates and just make sure that everyone is there on time and constantly updating. So I very much appreciate Google for what they have done to really up their technology to make sure that everyone can do everything that they need to in time. So it's definitely been a challenge for sure. But I think with everyone helping out and being on top of everything, I think it's worked out for the best that it can be.
That's RMU, right? So we're all working together. We're all trying our best. Things aren't always perfect, and that's okay. But we can always keep trying, and we can always keep trying to get better. And I think that's who we are. That's who we've been. And that's really what continues to keep us moving forward as we continue through this whole pandemic, and hopefully we'll get through it. I mean, it will end at some point, but we'll come out of it stronger, and we'll come out of it with maybe some new things that we'll all learn, and that'll help us as we continue to move forward.
Michelle, I have a hard stop at 8:30. Nice to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Dr. Howard.
My pleasure.
So, the School of Business, now Dr. Howard left, so I'll say this now, and he'll smile. The School of Business rocks, and we're the best school out of all 4 schools, just kind of saying that. And he would laugh if he heard me say it as well, but I'm supposed to say that. I'm the dean, right? I sat there and I look in my office, I have the yearbooks from many, many years ago that they have left here. And they had it where the beginning, it was only the men allowed in accounting. And so the whole front of the book was all just a group of men who had graduated from accounting. And then the back of the book is all the women who got to come for the secretarial school. And I've actually been able to meet a number of those women and who got their degrees here and who are very proud, to get their degrees and be able to come here. And I started laughing and I said, look where we are today. Now you have a woman actually leading the school, right? So things have changed, and I think positively in so many different ways. We're still the largest school of the 4 at RMU, so we hold about 30% of the tuition, of the enrollment. So we're about 33%. We fluctuate each year. But we rock. That there's just no 2 ways about it. RMU is business, and all those other areas are important. Don't get me wrong, but we're the center. I can say that now, right? So Tom, what was it like at RMU while you were here? What has changed? You keep coming back, you said, so let's hear some changes.
Well, certainly there's big changes right on the campus with all the new buildings and everything. I think the one maybe that you're sitting in right now, and I don't know if you're home or on campus, but
yeah, I'm on campus. I'm in Massey Hall, so my office is in Massey, not the School of Business.
okay.
So this one's still the same. President Howard gets Massey. I get gets the School of Business, the new building.
Okay. Yeah, when I went there for my master's, I did part of it right on the Moon campus and part of it at the building downtown Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
So that of course is a big change, but that worked out okay back then. I did have a question for you. What the MBA program? What sort of enrollment is there now, and how is that broken down, in person versus online?
So when I came to RMU, and it was the time in most cases, the MBA enrollment had been falling, and it's been falling nationwide. If you follow some of the trends, more and more people, less and less people are getting MBAs. And so it was down under 100 when I came. The first thing that we did is we revamped it. My thoughts about an MBA are an MBA is an integrated degree. And it's how all the 4 areas work together. The way we were teaching it is a separate class in each area. It was kind of like a business degree all over again with cases. So we have created this integration. Every class is team taught by 2 people from 2 different areas. So we have an accounting and a finance co-teaching a class, a marketing and a management co-teaching, a law and a marketer co-teaching classes, and really showing how everything works. And we've really increased the case method. So we follow the case method. We're about 225, 230, and we stay pretty consistent now the past couple of years. I would say 99% of our students are online. Okay. Online has been the big thing. But what we do offer is we offer some of our classes on ground. So some students have trouble sometimes with that accounting finance class. So every semester we always offer an on-ground section of that. So if they feel they want to do that, they could come on ground versus online, and they could flip back and forth with a lot of the different classes, depending on how they feel most comfortable. Their one business analytics class, a lot of them want to take it on grounds as opposed to online. So it just depends, but most of them are enrolled in the online program, the fully online program.
Okay.
Which makes sense because our student population in the MBA are working adults. So, so the, you know, and that is, we have a part-time MBA. We do not have a full-time MBA, and everybody's working. So that flexibility allows for that. The difference, our MS taxation is still on ground. So we still offer our MS taxation on ground, and we offer that actually in Pittsburgh, except for this semester we moved it online or on campus to control a little bit, but we've been offering it still in Pittsburgh. Other questions, comments? Have you had a chance, all of you, to get back to campus recently?
No.
I was no, I was back homecoming last year.
Okay.
So even though I am in the area, I'm just out there for homecoming. We were hoping to attend a concert back in March, but sadly that was canceled. So I haven't seen the new event center since it's been open. But once some restrictions lift, I'll be looking forward to coming out for games and concerts and things of that sort.
I'm hoping we'll have some basketball games. Josh or Matt, do you think we might be able to, or where are we with that?
Well, I'm going to let Matt speak to that when he clicks back on. He might have stepped out for a moment, but I think we are planning to have some with limited attendance. I don't know what the scheduling looks like and when that actually begins, but yeah, they're trying hard to make it work, just as we're trying to keep this as close to normal as possible. Which obviously is always limited attendance and having distance and things of that nature. I think Matt maybe stepped out. He can certainly speak to that. If I may give a plug, Janelle, for the building for a concert, if you like music, or if there's anyone there who you maybe even sort of like, and you want to go to your alma mater and see a show, I would highly suggest it. I don't know if this was by design, but the level of the roof is a little lower than you would expect in the building of that size, which really makes the sound phenomenal. I mean, in the case of in a basketball game, it's loud. It's always loud. When we fill it, it's really loud, which is great. You know, that makes the energy electric. But to see a show, there's not a bad seat in the house. The sight lines are fantastic. And the sound is just really all encompassing in a good way. It's warm, it's rich, it's not super loud, but it's all around you. It's a really nice place to see a show. And, you know, there could be over 4,000 people in the building and you just feel like you're right there in like a small club or something, because all the sight lines really look really on. So whenever at that concert, if it was Charlie Daniels, it's not going to reschedule. But if it was, if it's another show or a show that comes back, I would highly suggest it. It's a great place to see a concert. It's a wonderful experience. So,
yeah, a coworker of mine saw Brian Adams there. And
I was
said it
there too.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was an awesome concert.
Yeah. Loved Charlie Daniels, wanted to see Charlie Daniels, and it was canceled. And unfortunately, he passed away thereafter. So hopefully there will be some other varieties that come through, and we'll definitely check it out. It sounds like a really nice venue for just about anything.
Hey, Matt, somebody asked a question about the plans for basketball, and I don't really know that you probably know a few more details than I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, fingers crossed, first of all, on the concert, we've started to rebook shows for the fall. And we've tried a lot of different genres of music for anybody out there that was hoping to see some country music. I know we have a couple country music shows booked for the fall. So fingers crossed that we get beyond the pandemic here soon. We had somebody that's been in the news recently a lot on the country scene, Morgan Wallen, we had booked for the fall, which unfortunately got postponed. He's obviously been in the news for some not so great things, but he was coming to the campus in the fall. But so anyway, we're hopeful to get back to those. Josh is right. Fantastic venue to catch a show, whether it be a family show or a concert. I've been to almost all of them so far, so I'm partial maybe, but anyway, and we are hopeful to get back to basketball. So with the new legislation or direction that came down from the state, we're allowed 25% right now, currently, if something was to happen today, just like the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Pirates or the Penguins. So 25% of your capacity, which in our building is about 600 to 750 guests, spaced appropriately. So now I know athletics is working to try to figure out what that means in our building and how that setup would work. The benefit we have at RMU, which is really cool, is Oakview Group was contracted to run the bubble for the NHL, which was up in Toronto. So our building management group has experience with putting on the entire NHL playoffs, which is pretty cool. So we're excited to have them as partners in this venture as we try to figure that out, just like everybody else. I know there must be a Steeler fan on this call. So the Steelers started with 5,500 people, I know, the last couple of weeks, and have been going pretty adamantly at spacing and all the protocols. And I talked just last week, I had lunch with Jimmy Sacco, who runs Heinz Field, and they've been, we're mimicking a lot of the things they're doing there and hope to do when we have a live event in the building. And I know, I don't know, I'm probably an eternal optimist, but I hope that we have either therapies or a vaccine sooner than later, so we can get to whatever that new normal looks like and back to live events on campus, in the event center, downtown. As Michelle said, we'd love to have breakfast in the School of Business, right?
I will say that is the one thing that has changed. My budget has gotten a lot bigger because we don't spend it on food. So I didn't realize how much food that we spent for our students and how many breakfasts and lunch. And, it seems like we've always had, and we always continue to have food for everyone, pizza or breakfast, or, that kind of brings everyone together. That's our family. That's what we do. And so that has been very interesting, not having food in this building for everybody. And I feel like it's like we need to have something. So I hope next semester we'll be able to start some of that.
Tori, you heard it, right? Next
Tori,
semester, Dean Patrick's got to have a huge party for all the students.
I'm going to hold you to it there. So, because I have been very sad to not see anyone in Massey or the School of Business. I've actually genuinely missed that. So I'm going to hold you to that one.
You got it, Tori. As well as I do, there's food typically every day, and there's people here usually every day.
Always. Yes.
But the good thing is I've lost a little bit of weight, right? So you don't, so there's got to be some good, some bad to it, as you move forward. But yeah, no, that has been an interesting thing, and it'll be interesting to see what happens next semester. We are planning for next semester the same types of classes that we have this semester. So a mix, some online, some on ground, and then some of the virtual rotation. So we're continuing kind of with that mix, similar to how the mix is for this semester. In the School of Business, most of our classes right now are being offered at virtual rotation. We have some larger classes, so it makes sense to break those in half and do that virtual rotation. Adam, have you been back on campus? Oh.
Yeah, I have for a basketball game, probably actually right before COVID, actually. So the NEC finals.
Yep, I was there too. That was the last time I was in that building, and I hope to get back there very soon. That was a good game. That was an awesome game, by the way.
It was very good. I think it was probably one of the last large group events that I have been to, actually, come to think of it. So.
Yeah, well, it was March 5th. Tom, you remember
that game was on Tuesday, and we announced on Wednesday or Thursday of that we were moving to virtual. So It was that same week that we announced it, if I remember correctly. And Tom, so before everything, you were on campus. Were you at the game as well?
Well, I saw a number of the games at the start of the season. We head south for the winter. We're snowbirds. So yeah, we saw a few games there and then caught the rest of them on Roku for the rest of the season.
Okay.
But yeah, terrific environment. The game against Pitt where the arena opened was
That was cool.
everything.
Yeah.
That was really cool. Yeah, really well done. It couldn't have been done better. Yeah, it was just great. And then, you know, the crowds kind of died off a little bit once the season started, but then the crowds returned and were great during the playoffs. And I'm just so happy that the men were able to play the NEC championship game. It's unfortunate that the women couldn't do it, but yeah, it was terrific season.
Yep. So where do you head in? Do you go to Florida?
Arizona, actually.
Oh, Arizona. Cool.
Yes. Yeah.
When do you usually go? Do you spend the whole winter or?
Yeah, like this year, we're going to go down on the 12th of January. And, you know, hopefully the planes are flying and clean and safe and all that stuff. And yeah, you know, generally come back mid-April.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that you can get the flight and that it can, you know, that it'll work itself out by then.
Yeah, we go down on Southwest. They've been very good to us. They're great airline. So yeah, I'm sure it'll work out well.
Right before everything happened, I was traveling a lot, just, you know, different schools and visiting things. And I had gone probably 10 different places the 3 weeks prior to the pandemic. And then it was like, I mean, I was like, wow, this is, you know, just constant on a plane. And then there was nothing. Then it was like,
Yeah.
So it was an interesting change, to say the least. But
yeah, the early part of it, we as I mentioned, we try to stay until mid-April, maybe even the latter part of April. But we actually came back around the end of March because we were afraid at that time, nobody knew what was going on. We were afraid they were going to shut all the airlines down and we would have been marooned in Arizona for who knows how long. So, but again, it worked.
Not that bad of a place to be marooned though, right?
Well, once the weather starts getting hot in the summer,
Oh, that's
you know,
true.
May
That's
comes
true.
and everything, it's kind of rough, but it all worked out.
Good. Glad to hear it.
So I have a quick question. How you're talking on campus where you have some in-person classes as well as some virtual classes, and there are less people on campus. How are things there? Like, how are they doing? Like the cafeterias, the you know, going to the gym out there or being in the dormitories? Like, is it like a ghost town almost?
You know, I wouldn't call it a ghost town. It's definitely de-densified. So there's not as many people. You know, the one cool thing about campus is there's always people walking around, and there are moments where you look out and you see nobody, and that's odd, you know, because typically I can always see people. So there are less people for sure on campus. And that was our goal, you know, honestly, but there are people, everyone's in dorms, and we social distance. We all have our RMU masks that we wear all around. So we wear them outside or inside. You know, if we're around people, I'm in my office with my door closed, so I took my mask off, but everybody, you know, we're teaching, we have 6 feet away. We've got stickers. I keep saying the people who deal with plexiglass and these stickers that say sit here have made a mint, because there is like everything everywhere. It's like sit here, walk here, do this, do that. So we just all follow the rules, right? And that the first couple days were a little confusing because nobody knew, but we got used to it. And, you know, I walk around, I know where to stand, I know where to sit, I know, you know, and so do all the students. And it's worked out. We have temperature checkers that walk campus, and they randomly take your temperature. We use an app that every morning, you know, you check in and say, yes, I'm good. No, I'm not, you know, that kind of thing. And it'll, you know, tell you what to do and who to call. So I think you know, the measures have been great. Everybody has been following it. It has, you know, we stay 6 feet apart. We really, you know, try our best. But the classes, everything, you know, we got plexiglass, we've got whatever you've got, we, you know, that's out there, we put in place, and it just seems to be working. The whole, the students are put in social pods. So if they're on campus, if they're staying on campus, they have a group of students that they kind of connect with, that they're allowed to not have their mask on, because everybody kind of has been checked, and they can kind of be normal, you know, without a mask. But you're not allowed, you know, to have visitors in your dorm, and, you know, those kinds of things. So it's been a little bit of a challenge, but it seems to be working pretty good. I see people still running on campus, and you know, if you're by yourself running, you're usually pretty good. Or if you're with your social pod, you don't need your mask on. But as soon as you get by other people, you know, you got to have the mask. And I honestly haven't seen anyone. The first week it was a little confusing, like what were the rules? But since then, everybody's just, you know, doing what they need to do and moving on.
Good, glad to hear. Thank you.
Same with food too. You know, they have de-densified it. They have created more places where you can get things electronically, get things delivered, get, you know, all the idea behind the food, you know, you can't have buffets anymore. You can't, you know, do those kinds of things. So everything's in your self-serve container. Those are, you know, those are the big changes with it. But I will tell you, Janelle, I was skeptical coming back. I was like, what is this going to be like? I mean, what is the experience? I knew we could do it. I just wasn't sure kind of, you know, how that experience would work out. And as I said, in true RMU fashion, it just really worked out well. We have I think last time I checked, under 15 cases since middle of August. So that's pretty good. You know, and again, we find them, you know, students immediately let us know. They end up, you know, in isolation for a couple weeks, and, you know, same with employees. So, you know, we have the cases. You're going to have cases. It's that contagion. And we've been, you know, we've been able to do well. As I said, knock on wood, you know, we just got to make it till Thanksgiving. That's our goal for this semester. And then we're going to go virtual the rest of the semester.
Good. That's glad to hear, because you hear about other schools, not necessarily in the area, but around America, just like everybody was all happy to come back to school, and it was like party central, seeing all their friends, you know, from all over, and all these cases building. And it's very good and comforting to hear how well of a job, again, as always, that Bobby Mo has done to take care of their students and their staff. Very nice.
Well, you know, and it's really the students, you know, they follow the rules. You know, what happened at the beginning of the semester with all of those is all the students got back and nobody was following rules, you know, the off-campus parties and, you know, those kinds of things. And our students were committed, you know, they wanted to come back. They were very clear about that. And the only way they could come back was knowing that they had to follow the rules, and they did it, and they continue to do it. And that's our success, is that everybody's working together, because we all want to be here. Nobody likes sitting at home. I thought I did until I had to get stuck there for a long time. And then I'm like, get me out of this house the fastest I could go. You know, it's like, but we learned, you know, pajama pants colors and who wore what, and we got to see everybody's children and dogs and cats and, you know, and everything. And that was good too. You got to, you know, see the other side of people, side that you might not normally see. So that was a good thing as well.
Yes, I've enjoyed a lot of porch time and having the laptop out there, or if not porch time, sitting with the windows open, nice and refreshing, instead of an office building. And we have wind chimes, and I've had a couple meetings over the past few weeks, and you'll hear somebody, who has the wind chimes? Like, oh, sorry, that's me. I have the windows open. It's a nice fall day here, you know, in PA. And like, oh, they're so pretty. Don't close the windows. Don't close the door. It's good to hear. So yeah, it's a very unique setup than what you would have in a stuffy office. It's kind of nice. It has its good points and its bad points.
Yeah, I do like getting up, getting dressed, going into a building, driving to work. There's just something normal about that. And that really helped kind of, make things more normal for me. But I think probably the students too, why so many wanted, we had so many who said, we want to come back, we want to, try this. And I get that, in a time when it's not normal, any kind of normalcy helps. So that has been, we've been lucky, and we're very excited about it. So,
Dean Patrick,
go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead, Tori.
I can definitely speak on the student aspect of it. And also my dad actually works at the Island Sports Center. So I can speak on that as well, where at the sports center, there was quite a time where it was just my dad and his coworkers taking good care of the facility. And then they started to bring people back in small groups. They're still not doing the open skating yet. But they're working very hard to accommodate the youngsters with their hockey teams. They're trying to accommodate for, family and friends of faculty to still have on the rink skates. And, they're working very hard as well, just along with the students. Masks are required everywhere. And if someone doesn't have one, there's many places where someone can get one. And then for the student aspect, I can completely agree. A lot of us really wanted to get back on campus, and we were committed to doing what it took to really keep our campus safe. And a lot of us are very cognizant of that, where, we're constantly social distancing. We are making sure that everybody has a mask. And we will, as students, actually call each other out, whether we see someone not wearing a mask or it's not over their nose. We will actually call them out on it and say, hey, you need to put that over your nose, or you need to wear it. So it's not just the faculty who's enforcing it, but also the students enforcing it with each other as well. So having that little bit of normalcy to be back on campus. I am actually living in the dorms, and we're keeping good tabs on each other, especially the CAs are trying to work really hard on that. So all in all, we're really working hard to keep our campus as safe as possible. And I can see that as a student myself.
Yeah, Tori, that's a really good point. I got called, I pulled into the office last week, I think. I got out of my car, and as I was getting out of my car, I was holding my mask and I was getting ready to put it on, and 3 students saw me and they're like, Dean Patrick, where's the mask? And I'm like, it's here, I promise you I will put it on. It's like, okay, I will put it on before I get out of the car from now on, that kind of thing. But they're right, and they were, and it was, they have no trouble calling anyone, and that's how it should be. We're all helping each other out, and that was a cool thing. So it makes me feel good. Well, you know what? We're coming to the top of the hour. Is there any final questions? Anything? I've truly enjoyed getting to know you a little bit more. And as I said, breakfast on me at some point. I promise you that. So I will get back to you at some point. Maybe spring, but for sure next fall, breakfast on me. And we will certainly, celebrate the 100 years of RMU next fall, same time, and do some fun things there as well. So thank you for joining, and thank you for coming, but feel free to reach out to me at any point. We'd love to have you, talk more with our students, kind of engage in whatever you feel most comfortable with. So please stay in touch. You now know me, so now you have to stay in touch. You can annoy me too. You can send me emails and tell me all the wonderful things that I should do, because I know, and I'm serious about that. I love to hear from everyone, and I love to constantly hear what's happening, and ideas. I'm open to it. That's what makes us who we are.
No, thank you so much, Dean Patrick, and thank you to everyone who was able to join us today. I apologize for not being on here earlier. My name is Jennifer Young, and I'm the Director of Alumni Engagement here. But yes, so thank you all so much. And Dean Patrick, thank you so much today. So if you have any follow-up questions, we'll be sending out an email. So that way Dean Patrick has all of your emails and you can respond to that, or you can email her privately. Other than that, we hope that you have a great week. Go Bobby Mo. And if you have a moment tomorrow, please go to rmu.edu/day-of-giving and click on School of Business to help support the great efforts that Dean Patrick is doing. So all of you, thank you so much. I'm going to be closing this meeting out now. We'll have a recording of this after our wonderful PR and marketing team gives it a little bit of tweaks and edits. And we'll have this up on the Spirit Week page probably in about 24 hours. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Everyone have a great day.
See ya.
Thank you. Bye.